Mark, who's going to talk about the next release, 2203.
I will quickly share the release notes, and then I'm going to pass the sharing to Kirsten to share Lita, and we'll start talking there. So release notes, as always, you can find in your instance or in Aspen Test by watersolutions.com, admin release notes. And we did lots of cool things this time. So we'll go through those. We won't obviously cover everything because there's too much to show, which is a good problem to have. So Kirsten, you want to start sharing Lita? And we'll start there. And for anybody that's not aware, Aspen Lita is available for production use. The shared one is available in Google Play and the Apple Store. So you can go search for Aspen Lita, Lida, and you'll find it. And you can connect to your library. If for any reason you can't connect to your library, let us know and we can update settings to make sure that you can. The beta version has been released today, so it's available in the app stores for anybody that's part of the early testing program. If you want to be part of the early testing program and aren't, Slack us and we can get you the link for that. So we wanted to start off by showing we've added some item information. So if we do a search here for, of course, Harry Potter, when we go into the record now, we're able to click on the Where Is It link. And this will show all of the different copies that are available so that you can see more of the shelf locations, call numbers, that kind of thing. Information we've had in Aspen Discovery forever, but was not accessible through Lita. So we wanted to make sure that was available. So people like me that are using their phones inside the library can actually go figure out where on the shelf it is. The next thing we did was we updated the account page to be more of a drawer. So if we click on that, it expands out from the side, and you can easily get a list of your checked out titles, titles on hold, see profile, linked accounts we'll talk about in just a second, preferences. So we just think this is going to be a lot cleaner way to see what can be a whole lot of information. And Jordan will talk later about some new designs we have to maybe do some of the same thing in Aspen Discovery. We also have the ability to do the night mode down at the bottom or the dark mode down at the bottom. So if you click on that, it'll do the dark mode. You can click on the sun, it'll be the sun mode, light mode. So that's all set up. If we go into linked accounts, so we can see we have the ability to show multiple linked accounts. So in this case, we're linked to 2 other accounts, and there's other accounts that can view this information. We can remove one of those if we want and re-add it. So it's the same process that it is in Aspen Discovery. Same kind of limitations. If you don't have account linking turned on within Aspen, you won't be able to do it within Aspen Lita. So that's still based off your library settings. This goes through and adds it, and we can see it. And then if we go into our account information, we can see like on our checked out titles, who all that's checked out. So we can see the first 4 of those or 5, first bunch of those are checked out to me, and then Kirsten has several, and Samwise has a few. So just a nice way, same kind of functionality that's in Aspen Discovery, just a nice, easy way if you're managing all of those accounts for your family or for your partner or whatever, you're able to do that. So, or if you have different accounts on your own at different libraries within a consortia. All right, anything else there? I think that covered what we want to show. We've got also some just internal stuff that we did, like better error reporting, that kind of stuff, so that we can better help you out. Let's go back to Aspen now. So we do a lot with making new functionality and that kind of thing. We, in this release, actually did a lot to let libraries remove some of that functionality. So specifically, we're supporting a prison library system coming up that didn't want a lot of information stored, or maybe if you're supporting like an elementary school or something like that, you want to be able to say, hey, like things like reading history, it's an elementary school, middle school, maybe the kids don't care or aren't really doing a lot of logins. So we don't want to show that. So we've added the ability to disable reading history, disable saved searches. We also added the ability to, down here in grouped work display, so you're able to disable some of the style guides for citations, just so it doesn't go out to a separate link. And also within the p-type configuration, or so library configuration / p-type configuration. So in the library settings, there's, for the show staff view, it used to just be on or off. We now have the ability to say only show that to staff only. So the idea is that you would be able to only show that to staff information, or only show that information to staff. Some people have things in their MARC records they don't really want to show or don't want to confuse people. So that can now be turned off, right? And only turned on for staff. We did lots and lots of evergreen stuff. So evergreen's all built out now. We'll have some libraries going live on that later this month. We did a lot of search updates. So down here, we did some work with making searches case insensitive. We found some other cases that were case sensitive. Did some work with possessive searches. So like, let's do some. So over here, so like Devil's food cake, that at times was hard to find with the apostrophe S. So it now works fine with apostrophe or not apostrophe. Case sensitivity doesn't make any difference, that kind of thing. We also did some with, in some cases, doing more to remove stop words. So sometimes those stop words are important. Think about book it. It is a very typical stop word, and we really want to be able to find the book it. So we don't want to remove that in all cases, but in some cases we do want it removed. And we've been making a bunch of changes to the search functionality over the course of the last couple of months. We wanted to make those things, any issues that you see, we wanted to make it easier for you to report those, and to be able to continually test those to make sure as we change things. There's a lot with search functionality where there's not one right answer. There's a series of choices we make in terms of relevancy. So I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna open a new window. So let's go into admin. So we added a new, under catalog and grouped works, a search test. There's a new permission for this. It's granted by default to OPAC admin, but can be removed and you can customize all of your permissions. So say we wanted to add a new test for this. So we want to say, hey, maybe we are having a problem with Devil's food cake. We're not right now, but say we were. We can go into the admin, say create a new test, and we can decide, how do we want this searched? Do we want it searched as a keyword, as a title, start a title series, author, all those good things that we do. And we can do all of our different variations. So let's say we want to search Devil's food cake. We want to search Devil's food cake. We want to search Devil's food cake and maybe the devil's food cake, even though that's not really, the word the's not there, but we want to make sure that it gets ignored. Then we say, what works do we expect to show? And to do that, we just need to go in and grab the grouped work ID. So that can either be pulled out of the URL or down in the staff view. The grouped work ID is shown. So we'll just copy that, put it into our test. If there's things that you're noticing too, where you're saying, hey, I'm doing a search for devil's food cake and I'm getting this book on angel's food cake, and why in the world is that showing up? That shouldn't show up. So you could put that as an unexpected grouped work, and then we could look at the relevancy to see like, okay, well, why is that showing up? Maybe in the description someplace it's the Angels and Devils food cake book. Then we'll just save this. And to test, we just click run test. So we go through, click run test, and in this case, it says all of those pass. If we did put in something that, so let's just put in Angel's food cake. We'll just save that and rerun the test, and that one's going to fail. So it's going to tell us, oh wait, Angel's food cake, that one didn't show up. So that one doesn't work, and we expected it to. So we're going to save that change. Since we don't want to test that, run that test. Now we pass completely, and we'll go back to the list. When we release new code, what we can do then is go to each of your sites that have tests set up. We can bulk run all of these. So this is going to run all of them, and it's going to verify that all of those pass. And we were doing some other testing. So we've got this one that failed because before the dawn, we were testing and we got something that relevancy wasn't there. So hopefully that's going to be a really good way to help report search tests to us. And we're going to be able to start to just keep improving Aspen. So we want to keep making it easier and easier for people to search. If you do see a problem with a search, we would like you to continue to put on in a ticket to say, hey, this search isn't working. If you wanted to then reference and say like, hey, we set this up in our test system or our production system. Tests 9 and 10 aren't working. Here's what I was trying to look at. So that'll just really help us to be able to replicate what you're seeing, and then we can make sure as we deploy code that everything is working. Any questions on that? Go to the last thing we want to talk about. So down at the bottom here, we've renamed Aspen Discovery Help, and we've added a couple of new features. And we'll set this up for everybody that's supported by Bywater. So we have new request tracker settings, and I'm going to actually show this over at Darian's site. They gave us permission to show their tickets. So we have their request tracker settings. We'll set that up. What that's going to do is it's going to automatically pull all of your active tickets into Aspen so that you can see them right here. It just pulls in a feed of everything that's currently active, so you can search at least the title and the description to see what's going on, see everything that's active. It's only showing the active things, not anything that's closed, but it will show everything that's active. The other thing that we can do, as we've been meeting with libraries, one of the things that you'll hear us say is, what are your top 3 priorities? It's something that's really important to us and really important to Jordan as she's helping and planning releases. So we just need to know what your priorities are. So you can now go into set priorities and edit your priorities. This will give you a list of all of your active tickets. I'm not going to change these because I assume they've been set. So you can just go through and say 1, 2, 3, here's our highest priority things. After we close the ticket out, because it's been resolved, it will go through and say that one will revert to none, and you can just pick a new one for us. And we can view the history and that kind of thing to see what's been changed. You can move things up and down and that kind of thing. But just a nice way to give us your top 3 priorities to make sure that we're always working on the things that are most important to you. That doesn't necessarily guarantee that we will get to all of your priorities in any given result or in any given release, but it does give us more information as we're planning. Jordan, did you want to say any more on this, or?
Nope, I think that's great. It's just, we know we can't meet with every single library every single month, but we do want to know what your priorities are, and we know they shift. So this is just a way for us to automatically gather that information and for you not to have to wait to talk to us to update your priorities.
And then of course you can still submit a ticket directly from Aspen and view help manual and release notes. So in addition to all of that, you'll see in the release notes, there's a bunch of other stuff. Our specific requests from specific people or general bug fixes and that kind of stuff. So please go through, review the release notes. But that's the quick summary of Aspen and Aspen Lita release this time.